Today I'm going to tell you what I would do if I had to restart my One Piece collection. I'm going to talk about booster boxes and packs, cards I'd buy, and maybe a few other things. So whether you're brand new to collecting or a seasoned veteran, I think you'll find this video useful. Now the first things I want to address are booster packs and boxes. The MSRP for packs is $5 and for boxes it's $120. But if you go online and you look around, you're not going to find them for that price. So just keep this in mind. And even if you do want to buy a box at the higher market prices, well, it is a gamble. You're going to have some boxes that are really good and some boxes that are really bad. Either way, you're going to want to know how One Piece booster boxes work. So 12 booster boxes come in a case, and each case has a specific number of hits and types of hits for a certain set. So for OP15, there were 2 SPs in a case, and you get those 2 SPs from different boxes, and overall there were 32 hits. But the SPs are the big hitters. So if I open up a case and I pull out the SPs from the first 2 boxes, and I'm lucky like that, I could sell the other 10 boxes and they won't have SPs. So you gotta be careful if you are buying loose boxes online, like on eBay, from a seller that has low feedback and maybe just a couple of boxes for sale, versus someone on TCG Player where they might have 10,000, 50,000 reviews and cases and cases for sale. But overall, if you're really into collecting, it's probably a good idea not to dump a load of money into packs. Like, maybe if you can get them at MSRP, but then again, you could just buy a $5 alt art instead. Now this actually takes me to my next point, because if you're just joining the hobby, you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of money. Maybe some of you don't have a tight budget, that's great, but for those who do, listen to what I'm about to say. A great way to start off collecting is by getting inexpensive cards of your favorite character. And most characters out there will have some cheap cards. For me, Luffy's my favorite, and he's someone with a lot of expensive cards like this Gear 5 manga, but he's also a character with some pretty inexpensive cards. I just picked up a bunch of these promo Luffys from Starter Deck 18. They were like $3 a card. I don't think that's a bad price, and I just really like the art on this card, which I think is a great reason to collect. And there are plenty of cheap cards with great art, like these commons and uncommons you're seeing on screen now. I picked out a few with artwork that appeals to me, but everybody's tastes are different, so I'm sure you can find some that you love. The great thing about these is that they are generally pennies, so it's a very easy way to collect. And if you do want more than commons and uncommons, that's understandable, but there are a lot of super rares that are inexpensive, and I just find them incredibly cool. So for example, let's take a look at some of these super rares I've picked out. Now this Smoker was especially cool. I remember when he came out, he was one of my favorite cards just based on the artwork alone, and a lot of these other SRs have great coloring and great backgrounds. Oh, that's so good. But for other cards, it's going to be the character that stands out. And this Luffy and this Zoro are some of the earlier SRs, so they are a bit more expensive, but to this day, they are some of my favorite super rares. So just look for those incredibly cool and inexpensive cards because they are out there. And if you really want to up the rarity, consider going to cheap alternate arts. And this is my main point for those of you who have been in the hobby as well as for the newcomers. Cheap alternate arts are a great way to grow your collection. The other week I went to my local card store and I picked up a lot of alternate arts and illustration box promos. And most of these were around $5-ish. Some were a bit more, but the most expensive was actually this Doflamingo from Romance Dawn, which is the very first One Piece set. It was only $18. That's really not that bad. And if you don't have a local card store, don't worry, you can order from TCG Player. I'm thinking about picking up a few copies of this Charlotte Cracker alternate art. I can even buy 7 for 25 bucks. I don't know that I need 7, but I can. And one of the reasons I suggest buying cheaper alternate art cards is because when the market's crazy like it is, it's a pretty safe way to go. And I guess you can also use these for an investing opportunity, or if you're like me and you play the game, you could potentially put these cards in future decks. So it's a nice way to bling them out for a lower price. And while you're buying these less expensive cards because you're trying to figure things out, you get a feel for what type of collector you are. Because ultimately, I want you to collect what you love, whether that's a certain character, set, or even a specific illustrator. Like Soso, I love their work, they do a fantastic job, they also do cards for the Pokemon Company. Now you don't have to start with collecting cheaper cards, but if you do, and you find out that you love the hobby, then you can expand your budget and move into the higher rarity cards. And of course, there's nothing wrong with sticking with the less expensive cards most of the time, and every now and then buying a high cost item. So overall, find out what type of collector you are, live within your means, and just enjoy the hobby. And now that you're getting cards, you want to see this video on how to protect them. I'm Graded Noah. If you like this video, do the thing, and I'll see you next time.